statistically speaking, nobody ever really makes it past the intro. So for all I know, nobody ever really knows, outside of maybe like my dad and some other folks, but like the majority of people, they don't really know what I'm doing in half of these. Doesn't really matter. No, I'm just kidding, it does matter. Because you need to comment and subscribe or something. Because new year, new me. I think I said that in the last one. New year, same me. Hello all, I am Mr.Flamingo Reviews, and today I will be reviewing The Flash Rebirth. Written by Geoff Jones, The Flash Rebirth sees the quintessential story of the return of Barry Allen. Technically. Barry Allen returns in Final Crisis, but this is the story of his return. He's back now. So what does the return of Barry Allen look like? What we get is a 6-issue miniseries that establishes so much. I've always heard that this run on The Flash, this mini run, was amazing because it established everything one would love about The Flash. And it really did. Not only did it start to dive into the Speed Force and what it is, it established that Barry Allen generates the Speed Force. It established a lot of lore stuff, or like character history stuff, that folks like my dad even know. The stuff that he knows from the Flash TV show originated from this comic book, the death of Barry's mother at the hands of Eobard Thawne, as well as Barry's father going to prison for it. That is well established as the show's opening plot line. That idea exists because of this comic book, and Geoff Jones' writing and this whole storytelling is done in a way to where that's fantastic. Barry's back, but now something feels off. And eventually you learn it's because Professor Zoom, Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, he changed the past. He killed Barry's mom, and when Barry went away in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he went away having had both his parents, and he returned with a whole different past because of him. I found the idea of that to be super interesting because it all really just works with time travel. It establishes why a bunch of the Flash characters who should be much older are still youthful, such as Jay Garrick, who is a well-established character from the golden age of comic books and would have been around World War II, but he's still just barely past his 50s in the comics. And this is why, the Speed Force. The writing and the story itself was very easy to follow and very good for what it had to do. Final Crisis brought him back, but this story had to establish why Barry needs to be back, because he is one of the longest dead comic book characters. For those that don't know, Barry Allen was dead for a cool 23 years real time, and when you have a character dead that long from such a big event like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have to really think of why he needs to be brought back. Unfortunately, though, even if in this one contained story everything works so well, this would eventually lead to the watering down and eventual disappearance of Wally West for a good number of years. The main Wally West, the one that was the Flash for a long time, as well as the New 52 reboot would eventually stem because of this comic book, because it goes on to do Flashpoint, and Flashpoint gets everything rebooted, so you get a lot of character history lost for a good period of time. You don't realize any of that's going to happen in this comic book. And this comic book in and of itself, this set of 6 issues, was so fun. The aftermath might not have been, but the lore and the story that this established was great. And I can see why some people look at this book and they think it's fantastic. And I can see why some people look at this book and think it was detrimental to what the Flash had become. But overall, great read.
You're not in this episode.